There are two items that pop into my mind when I'm thinking about spring, finally spring. It's crocus and it's asparagus. And I'm going to make us some creamy, delicious asparagus soup. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Jill for today. If you're new to my channel, thanks a lot for popping in. I hope that you like this recipe and that you might consider subscribing. And I welcome back all my subscribers and my regular visitors. I love you all and I'm glad you've come back. Well, today it's still pretty cold outside and we tend to gravitate towards soup when it's that cold outside, and spring is here though. It's kind of trying really hard. I see a few crocus out there, and in the grocery store there is asparagus, and I'll tell you what, nothing is better than a bowl of cream of asparagus soup. So I'm going to bring you on down to the bowl and we're going to get started. All right, I have my Instant Pot heating up on saute. If you don't have an Instant Pot or any other kind of pressure cooker, this goes so quick and easy on the stovetop that you shouldn't let this keep you away from making this recipe. Let's get started here. I have about a tablespoon of olive oil heating up, and I've got chopped up onion, about a quarter of an onion. I've got one medium-sized leek that I have cleaned and chopped, and I have a russet potato. Let me get you in there. There you are, so you can see all that. And a russet potato that's been coarsely chopped. And these things don't have to be finely chopped because it's a pureed soup, and it will all come out in the wash. I'm going to give this a little bit of salt, just a little bit. We're trying really hard to watch our salt intake now, so I try to be very, careful at the onset of cooking, and we can always, put a little bit more in if we need. I'm going to stir this here, get it going. Oh, it's funny about leeks. They smell so much different than an onion does. I can't really tell what it is. I think it's not got that real harsh yellow onion smell that we tend to get, when we cook onions. And I'm going to let that just cook a little tiny bit to let those leeks start to just wilt a little bit. And once that's done, I'll bring you back. All right, I'm going to add the asparagus, which I have chopped up. This is about 2 pounds, and I've given you a couple of little snippets here in this video. I'm not sure whether they will show up before, during, or after the making of the soup, but I've showed you how to cut up a leek, and I've shown you how to peel the asparagus, so you get more asparagus for your dollar. Sound good. When I was a child and I was sick, if I had the flu or a bad cold, I always wanted cream of asparagus soup or cream of celery soup. That was just my go-to, and of course it was always Campbell's, right? I think there was no other soup in my world till I became almost an adult that wasn't Campbell's soup. Now I'm going to add, this actually, you can use vegetable broth. I didn't have any, or I actually would have used vegetable broth. I'm going to use chicken as my other default, but you certainly could use vegetable, and that would be just great. So I'm going to put in here enough to make 3 cups of broth, and I'm going to add 3 cups of water. When I do soups like this that I know are going to be cooked and creamed and all combined together, I very rarely take the better than bouillon base and mix it up. I just do it that way, and it all comes out just perfectly fine when you get ready to eat it. This is a clove of garlic going in that has been smashed. I have a bay leaf. I have the juice of half a lemon, and this is going to keep that green of the asparagus kind of green, so it doesn't get real pale. It will get pale. It has no other way to go, but it does help a little bit. And then I'm going to put in about a half a teaspoon of dried thyme. Let's see, that's my quarter. That's my thyme. Make sure I've got the right stuff here. That's a quarter and a half. I want to make sure I have everything in there now before I go forward. I've got the salt, pepper, I've got the leek, onion, potato, garlic, thyme, bay leaf, asparagus. We're good to go here. I'm going to stir this up. And I'm now going to take my Instant Pot off of saute. I'm going to put the lid on, making sure my valve is on sealed. And I'm going to put it on manual, and I'm going to give it 12 minutes. We want those potatoes really tender, and we want the asparagus done. So this is how I take care of my asparagus. I cut about 1.5 inches or 2 inches off the bottom, wash it, and then I take my potato peeler and I peel all the way down that stalk, just below that fluffy part at the top of the stalk. I don't know what you call it. And I do this with all asparagus that I use in any kind of dish. If I steam it, if I put it in a stir fry, anything, you get so much more asparagus. There is the theory, of course, you bend that stalk of asparagus until it snaps, and that's where the tender spot is. That's true. But once you get all this outside fiber off, you have a beautiful stalk of asparagus, and that you've saved. They're very easy to take care of. You cut off the stem end there, and then you cut the top tough part of the leek off. I know some people use it. I don't care to. And then you split that leek down the center. Sometimes there is sand inside. That's just the way they're grown. It gets the sand. Put them under some cold water and fan through, like I'm showing you there. Just fan it through the cold water, and that should take care of any sand inside that leek. If you could smell this, it's just phenomenal. And I swear one day they're going to make smell-o-vision. Now this has gotten really tender in there, and that's what I wanted. Something, the potatoes are just tender, and the asparagus is as well. I fished out the bay leaf, so I don't have to worry about that. You can grind them up, but I pull them out. Now I'm going to use, as I tell you before, and I'll always tell you about this, I'm going to use this immersion blender, and you have to be so careful when you use an immersion blender to come out there so you can see a little better. When you go into your soup, you go down and you smush around like this. Don't go up and down, up and down. You will be burned. Something terrible. So we just, this is a great tool, but just, know how to use it. And it is. It's just a matter of leaving it in there and doing this with it. The other item you can use, of course, is a blender. And if you use a blender, the same thing, you have to be careful. This is very hot liquid. You put hot liquid in a blender and you turn that baby on to high, it's not a good thing. So if you do that, feed it in very slowly, release that top cap that's on the lid of your blender. That will also help let some of that steam out. Or you could wait till it cools off pretty well, blend it, and then reheat it. So you have a few options there. So I'm going to put this on low, and I'm going to puree this up, and when it's done, I will bring you back. I am all done blending this. I think it looks pretty smooth. If you even had a few little pieces of asparagus in there, that would be just great. And as a matter of fact, if you want to get real fancy, after you have this cooked, you could pull out some of the asparagus tips, and when you go to serve it, add a few of those on top as a garnish. But this is just a nice simple soup, and it's creamy. It looks fab. So it's very hot. I'm going to let it sit here and cool for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get somebody to come in here and take a taste with me. This is an amazing looking dish of soup. I thought it looked so pretty in the white cup and saucer with that green color. So we're going to take a taste of this.
It smells.
Are you ready to try this?
Oh yeah.
You know what I have to say? Soup's on. Go ahead, take a taste.
No.
Oh.
Chef is always first.
Gosh, you're sorry. It's hot now. Be very careful. Oh no, you always taste it first. That's just kind of the way it is now. Don't start changing things on me after 43 years of marriage.
43 years?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that great? It is.
Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Go ahead, tell me what you think of that. Now, I did not put almost no salt at all.
Need salt.
Yeah, but remember, we are trying to cut back on the salt.
Need salt.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure potatoes take a lot of salt. Yeah.
That's good. It's good. It's got a nice asparagus flavor to it. Takes me back to when I was a kid and you made cream of mushroom, cream of asparagus, cream of broccoli.
It's so funny you mentioned that too, because I had said that earlier.
A little bit
Yeah,
of
it's right
salt.
there on the side. When I was telling them when I was a kid and I would get sick, have the flu or a bad cold or something, and Mom would fix food for me. It was always cream of asparagus or cream of celery, and of course it was always
Celery, that's the one I forgot.
always Campbell's, always Campbell's soup. Better with the salt now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I try so hard now to.
Yeah, I may have hit it a little too heavy with the salt, but
Oh, but that is such a
that
good
is
soup.
great.
You know, and you see how lovely the color was kept because of that lemon juice I put in there.
It looks like your pea soup.
Well, I guess it does look like pea soup. Anyway, I
You
really
could
hope.
fool your friends.
I hope you'll give this a try. You know, it's springtime, please, let it be spring. And we're trying to find ways to bring spring into the house, and nothing is springy, like I said, other than
It is
crocus and
spring.
asparagus.
I just went out to the mailbox
Yeah.
and the guy across the way is doing the first barbecue of the year.
All right, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I hope that you enjoy this recipe. I hope you try it. I will give you the instructions and all the goodies down below, so you can check it out and make it for yourself. Super easy. And as you saw how well I can stretch that asparagus out to take every little bit of it, so you don't waste any. And if there's a little subscription bar down there, I got to remember all this stuff. It's hard for me at this age.
43 years?
Little subscription bar down there. If you hit that, then you're subscribed, which is a wonderful thing for me. And then if you hit the little bell next to it, every time I upload a video, it's a really good thing for you. All right, is that it? We're done?
That's it.
All right, everybody, thanks a lot.
Did you tell them about your Amazon
Oh,
store?
I have an Amazon affiliate store, and there's a link down there in the description box. If you go shopping in Amazon and you purchase something, of course, you don't get charged anything extra, but we get a tiny little commission.
Keeps us in soup.
It keeps us in soup. Take care, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.